All right, so a little bit of a different video today, but I want to talk about Season 4 and why I'm a little bit disappointed. So I guess we're just going to get into that. Also, sorry if it's kind of windy, if you can hear that. It is like really windy outside. We're in the middle of like a storm in the middle of spring. It's a winter storm, so sorry about that. Try and cut it out in post if I can. But yeah, let's just jump into why I'm disappointed about Season 4 of Dragonflight. All right, so obviously the first place to start is just the patch notes. There hasn't really just been anything that's come out. If we scroll down here, what we have is the returning 8 Dragonflight dungeons, the previously published dungeon changes article, which just shows, you know, oh, we're doing this whole thing to dungeons, which is cool for people who don't normally push M+, who are trying to get into it more. It's good for the game. However, I don't think it's really that massive for the higher end player. You know, it's just not super impactful. It is good, cool for the game, but not like a massively impactful thing. They've changed dinars to antique bronze bullions, which I will say is a good change. For those who don't know, in the last Season 4 of Shadowlands, we had 3 dinar total, which you could trade 1 for an item that you could then upgrade to mythic by doing mythic bosses and such. So you got 3. It seems like with the antique bronze bullion, we'll get a lot more than 3. You'll get, I think, a ton of them because there's cosmetics. There's a bunch more things you can get. So that's a good change. You get more of them. We're getting a mount. We're getting a really boring dungeon mount. Doesn't even really change that much. We're getting a new PvP season, which is cool, I guess. A bunch of new titles. And that's kind of it. You know, there's not really a ton of other changes that are coming in here, which I think is really disappointing. So, like, I don't really know why I'm that excited for it, you know? In Season 3 of Shadowlands, Season 4 of Shadowlands, I think everybody was kind of okay with it more because of the fact that, oh, you know, it's the first time they're doing it. Shadowlands was a COVID expansion. And Season 4 of Shadowlands, I actually enjoyed a little bit. I think the raid rotations wasn't great, which, by the way, raid rotation is back. I think the raid affixes were interesting. They kind of sucked for Havoc, but you know, it's something new, it's something different at least, which I'll give them that. I think the new seasonal affix for dungeons was pretty fun. I think Shrouded is one of my favorite dungeon affixes they've done. And I also think that, you know, adding the very first rotation, you know, where they bring back older dungeons to the game was a pretty big thing as well. Just bringing that back in, letting people do these older dungeons that people haven't really seen yet before, really set the stage for how, you know, dungeons are going to work currently and how we currently have a rotation, right? We have this rotation because of Season 4 of Shadowlands, and none of that was brought forward. Now, obviously, were there problems Season 4 of Shadowlands? Yeah, there were, but I think I enjoyed it personally. I think Shrouded was pretty fun, getting a bunch of stats. I think those dungeons were pretty cool to experience. I think the raid affixes were a cool experiment. Would have liked to see maybe some iteration on those brought forward. But right now, we're kind of left with nothing. We're left with kind of the worst parts of Season 4 of Shadowlands and none of the best parts. Like, they've upgraded the dungeon track, but they haven't really touched a ton of other things, you know? Like, the dungeons are going to be a little bit easier to do. We are going back to the very first Dragonflight dungeons, like I said, and they've made a ton of tuning changes to these. Let me see if I can find them. Yeah, we can pull them up here. They made a ton of tuning changes to them to make them, oh, source code, make them a bit better. But like, I don't know if that's enough. So they did all these difficulty changes. I won't go over it. I already have a video on that. And they've done dungeon updates. They made a bunch of things better. Added a checkpoint, nerfed problematic trash, nerfed problematic bosses, increased timers, nerfed trash, nerfed bosses, nerf. Basically making the dungeons a lot more friendly, a lot more doable, and a lot more just, I don't know, like reasonable. So they're a lot more on the same page. They've come out again recently with even more dungeon tuning. If I can find it, yep, right here. So they've done even more. Nerfs to dungeons, Uldaman, Ruby Life Pools, and Alcor Academy, which were some of the harder dungeons by a good bit. But, you know, we have already seen these dungeons, and I think it's fine for them to bring them back because we've only seen them for 1 season, where otherwise, you know, in the past, we've seen them for 3 or 4. But I was really hoping for something else, you know, something cooler about Mythic Plus. Maybe some Keystone stuff they spit on a little bit. They experiment with that. Maybe some affix stuff they experiment with. Maybe even a new seasonal affix. That would have been really fun. But they brought none of that. They haven't done any of that. Now, as the time of making this, the new season comes out in 20 days. So they're is time for them to still fix this, but I don't know. 20 days, I'm not super confident a lot of the stuff is going to change, you know? Like this could have been a great time to experiment with, I don't know, like being able to choose your keystone after doing a dungeon or something, or reworking affixes completely before War Within so that we hit War Within and it's just such a good time. Or maybe experimenting raid, even retune these raids so that you can have I don't know, like 10 people on Mythic. I think that probably wouldn't be that hard to do. I don't know, I'm not a developer, I'm just spitting here. Or, you know, add different affixes to the raid. There's none, right? Just even spice it up, because right now all we're doing, we're going back in, we are doing the nerfed version of bosses, we're doing the nerfed version of dungeons. Yes, it's a shorter season. Yes, it's better than nothing. It's better than just being in season 3 forever. But it's disappointing, you know, like I'm still gonna play it, I'm still gonna have fun, but I really wanted there to be more. There could have been so much more. This is such a fun playground to experiment with. Plunderstorm was an experiment that I think worked out really well. I know a lot of people are against it, but I think a lot more people have enjoyed it. And I think it's cool they can turn this on and do this, and it opens up a ton of room for more limited time events, or, you know, short events in the future to build content. There's some stuff coming in 10.2.7 with like Pandemonium time running or something like that. I think is honestly sounds pretty cool from what we know, which isn't a lot, but what they've teased. But I just think that season 4 could have done a lot more to experiment with the core gameplay of these games, right? The core pillars of Endgame being Raid, Mythic Plus, and PvP. And I don't know, I just really feel like it hasn't done that. And that just leaves me with a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, you know? Like, I imagine they cut a raid tier from Dragonflight to fit in like a shorter expansion, right? Like this is going to be an 18-month into hopefully War Within in August, but I guess we haven't even seen the beta or alpha yet, which should come out sometime in the next 20 days because it's supposed to be before season 4 launch, according to that flowchart thing, the roadmap that they gave us. But we haven't seen anything about it yet. We just know some hero trees. So, you know, I'm excited for that, but honestly, season 4 being kind of mid right now with not a ton of new stuff, nothing really cool, no seasonal theme, it's all just kind of all over the place, does put a damper on it. Now, I do think people will play it still. However, I do think it'll set some records for lowest kind of attendance and everything. The raid rotation kind of sucks. The fact that the dungeons, you know, they're easier, which is great, but the fact they don't have anything new or exciting, no fresh twists, no fun affix, no affix changes, no keystone changes, nothing like that, definitely leaves a sour taste. And, you know, it sucks. We'll see what happens. They have some trinket tuning that came out. We'll see if class tuning happens. There's been, I think, changes to 2 classes. They've changed Holy Priest and Mistweaver. So most classes will play pretty similar, I think, to how they already did. I guess unless your tier set's changing. Havoc will play basically the exact same. We'll get some different trinkets, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm disappointed. But, you know, I just wanted to kind of make this ranty video today. I'm hoping that by the time I make this and by the time it comes out, we're going to see some more changes, some more fun, exciting things other than, oh, you know, just do these dungeons you've done again, but they're easier, and get more gear to do the raid you've done already, but it's easier. But we'll see. I don't know. I'll still make content on it, obviously, and I'll be splitting my time between that and the alpha, of course. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts. Like, what do you guys think? Are you excited for it? Do you think they could have done more? Am I off base here? Let me know. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. If you're still watching, like, comment, subscribe. We are 100 subs away from 10,000, which is crazy. So, you know, that's amazing. So thank you all so much. See you guys next time. Peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you, Sky Elk, Andrew Keenel, 100,001 Zans, Guillermo Lamas, Brad Wisniak, It's Bulk, and Magic Man 133. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. If you want to support the channel and get a few perks along the way, check the link in the description to become a channel member, or go follow me on Twitch and sub there. Again, thank you all so much. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time.